morning class. I am here with new topic of software engineering with next new topic after the explanation of waterfall model. I will move on the next model, which is also known as extension of waterfall model, iterative model. In extended waterfall model, the drawback into the waterfall model is resolved with the help of the interconnection of all modules from feasibility study to the maintenance, because the error occurred in any phase of the waterfall model is transferred to its the next phase, and solution of the problem occurred into the previous phase can not be resolved in their successive phase. So in extended waterfall model, all the phase are coupled for solving this kind of the problem. In the iterative model, iterative process start with a simple implementation of a small set of the software requirements and iteratively enhance the evolving versions until the complete system is implemented and ready to be deployed. An iterative lifecycle model does not attempt to start with a full specification of requirements. Instead, development begins by specifying and implementing just part of the software, which is the which is then reviewed to identify further requirements. This process is then repeated, producing a new version of the software. At the end of each iteration of the model, iterative model design process start with a simple implementation of a subset of the software requirements and iteratively enhance the evolving versions until the full system is implemented. At each iteration, design modifications are made and new functional capabilities are added. The basic idea behind this method is to develop a system through rapid cycles and in smaller portions at a time. Iterative and incremental development is a combination of both iterative design or iterative method for development. During software development, more than one iteration of the software development cycle may be in progress at the same time. This process may be described as an evolutionary or incremental building approach. In this incremental model, the whole requirement is divided into various things. During each iteration, the development module goes through the requirements, design, implementation, and testing phase. Each subsequent release of the module and add function to the previous release. The process continues till the complete system is ready as per the requirement. The key to a successful use of an iterative software development lifecycle is validation of requirements and verification and testing of each version of the software against those requirements within each cycle of a model. As the software evolves through successive cycle, tests must be repeated and extended to verify each version of software. The SDLC models, iterative and development, has some specification in the software industry. This model is most often used in the following scenario: requirements of the complete system are clearly defined and understood. Major requirements must be defined. However, some functionalities are requested. Enhancements may evolve with time. There is a time to the market constraint. A new technology is being used and is being learned by the development team while working on the project. Resources with needed skill sets are not available and are planned to be used on contrast or contract basis for specific iterations. There are some high risk features and goals which may change in the future. The advantage of this model is that there is a work model of the system at a very early stage of development, which makes it easier to find functional or design flaws. Finding issues at an earlier stage of development enables to take corrective measure in a limited budget. The disadvantage with this SDLC model is that it is capable only to large and bulky software development projects. This is because it is hard to break a small software system into further small serviceable increments modules. The advantage of iterative SDLC model are as follows. Some working functionality can be developed quickly and early in the life cycle. Results are obtained early and periodically. Parallel development can be planned. Progress can be measured. Less costly to change the scope or requirements. Testing and debugging during a smaller iteration is easy. Risks are identified and resolved during iteration, and each iteration is an easily managed milestone. easier to manage risk. High risk part is done first. With every increment, operational product is delivered. Issue change changes and risk identified from each increment can be utilized to the next increment. Risk analysis is better. It supports changing requirements. Initially, operating time is less, better suited for large and mission critical projects. During the life cycle, software is produced early, which facilitates customer evolution and feedback. The disadvantage of the iterative SDLC model: more resource may be required, although cost of change is lesser, but it is not very suitable for changing requirements. More management attention is required. System architecture or design issues may arise because not all requirements are gathered in the beginning of the entire life cycle. Defining increments may require definition of the complete system, not suitable for smaller projects. Management complexity is more. End of project may not be known, which is a risky. Highly skilled resources are required for risk analysis. Project progress is highly dependent upon the risk analysis phase. Now moving to the increment process model and how to work with the increment process model. Its increment model delivers series of release to the customer. These releases are called increment. After every cycle, usable product is given to the customer. Every new cycle will have an additional functionality. Iterative enhancement model: it is an incremental model and has same phase as waterfall model, but they are conducted over several cycles. During first cycle, in the requirement analysis phase, the customer and developer specify as many requirements as possible and prepare SRS document. The developer then implement one or more cycles of design, implementation, and test. Thus, in the first release, it gives the product that satisfy only a subset of customer requirements, and customer is able to do some work after first release. The complete product is delivered after the series of release. The incremental model is a software development where the product is designed, implemented, and tested incrementally until the product is finished. It involves it involves both development and maintenance. The product is defined as finished when it satisfies all the requirements. This model combines the element of the waterfall model with the iterative philosophy of prototyping. The product is decomposed into a number of components, each of which is designed and built separately. Each component is delivered to the client when it is complete. This allows partial utilization of the product and avoids a long development time. It also avoids a large initial cap- capital outlay and subsequent long waiting period. This model of development also helps ease the effect of introducing a completely new system all at once. The incremental model applies the waterfall incrementally. The series of release is referred to as increments, with each increment providing more functionality to customers. After the first increment, a core product is delivered which can already be used by the customer. Based on customer feedback, a plan is developed for the next increments, and modifications are made accordingly. This process continues with increments being delivered until the complete product is delivered. The incremental philosophy is also used in the agile process model. The incremental model can be applied in development of minimizing risk and cost of the product. Incremental model have some characteristics such as system is broken down into many mini development projects. This model have some characteristics as I discussed. The overall project is divided into small or mini development projects. Partial systems are built to produce the final system. Firstly, the broken down of the project module is being produced to the final system. First, tackled highest priority requirements. When the whole module is broken down into many mini development projects, so firstly take the high priority requirement which is very high for the user or according to the requirement, that particular thing firstly going to be designed. The requirement of a portion is frozen once the incremented portion is developed. What are the advantages of incremental model? After each iteration, regression testing should be conducted. During this testing, faculty element of the software can be quickly identified because few changes are made within any single iteration. It is generally easier to test and debug than other methods of software development because relatively smaller changes are made during each iteration. This allows for more targeted and testing of each element within the overall product. Customer can respond to features and review the product for any need or useful change. In this model, customer have some rights for the updation before the product delivered to the customer. Customer can change their requirement according to their needs. Initial product delivery is faster and cost less. In this iterative enhancement model, the product's prototype is delivered very fast because after getting the prototype model from the developer or from the product manufacturer, The user can easily pick out the errors, and according to the requirement the product is developed or not. And after this the customer easily, according to their requirement, their need, is easily to change in the product. So initial product delivery is faster and costless. Some disadvantages are with this model also. Resulting cost may exceed the cost of the organization, because so many times a product is designed and delivered to the customer, and customer see each and every time and correct the error and check the requirement. According to the requirement, if product is not meet the requirement, the customer again and again change according to their requirement. So the resulting cost may exceed of the organization. One more disadvantage: as additional functionality is added to the product, problems may arise related to system architecture, which were not evident in earlier prototypes. In this model, so many tasks are added after the user feedback, and these added things are not in the earlier designs prototypes. This is also a drawback of the system. And what are the tasks involved in this iteration? First, communication, which is very helpful to understand the objective from the customer, and after getting the understandable objectives from the customer, the requirement gathering is depend upon that communication. Second, planning, required as many people software teams work on the same project but different function at same time. Planning is also very important task which is involved in the iteration model, iterative enhancement model, because in this the requirement of the software team work same for same project may be different. Modeling task involves business modeling, data modeling, and process modeling. The modeling of the iterative enhancement model includes all type of modeling which are required within the software development or software designing phase. It involves data modeling. What are the relationship between the two different data, two different designs, two different models are defined in this iterative model very clearly, and processing of each and every module which are included in the design of the iterative enhancement model is very clear, and step by step process is defined, described within the document part, and it also involves the business modeling. What is the last product and what is the resultant of this project, and where this project is going to be deployed, and what are the users to use this product, and how to use, and what is the result of this project in the business environment. So the all thing is involved in this iterative enhancement model. Construction, this involves the reuse software components. In the iterative enhancement model, the construction part is depending upon the design or model which are used in the previous phase or previous task phase. The construction is totally depending upon the data modeling, process modeling. It involves the reuse software components because we are enhancing our software product by the iterations, so many time of iteration. So iteration is done on each and every phase again and again. So the reuse of software component is very important. This construction involves the reuse software components and automatic code deployment. It's also very important in iterative enhancement model. Deployment integration of all increments, because the iterative enhancement model, on each and every step something is added in each step. So deployment of enhancement which are not previously or earlierly included in the software design. So after each iteration of a phase, and if some changes are present in that particular phase or occur changes in the each and every phase or two or more phase, so the integration of all these things is very important for a final product. So deployment and integration of all the increments is very important. It's also a task which is included in the development of the iterative enhancement model. Thank you, friends. I'm stopping here. I will explain in the next lecture with the next topic. Thank you.